Hello there, comic book fans. I am back again from the comic shop this week with another week's worth of comics to show you. This week I got 6 comics. It should have been 7. I was supposed to get Ted McKeever's Pencilhead #1, but it either didn't come out this week or they were shorted. I think they were shorted because it showed up on my email. But I guess that'll be coming in the next couple of weeks. So I'll show it to you when I get it. But it's a new Ted McKeever comic. And it's about, I think it's about his, it's like kind of a fictionalized telling of his working for Marvel in the 90s. So that sounds interesting to me. Pencilhead #1, haven't gotten it yet, but I do have Dark Horse Presents issue number 18. Big 56-page issue, same price. What is the price? $4.99. Kyra, Alien Jungle Girl. So we get more Carla Speed McNeil's Finder in this one. That's my favorite. Pretty nice looking art there, an Alien Jungle Girl. I think I remember this story now. The story's a little thin on the Jungle Girl, but the art's the suit. Spy story. This is the story about a Superman type character who can't do anything as the world ends. What's that one? Don't recognize it. Some story that, where's Carla Speed McNeil? We're not to her yet. And another story of a strange guy. I completely missed Carla Speed McNeil in this. She's my favorite. I want to see her. There we go. There's Finder. With Carla Speed McNeil. This story's about this socialite who has no money and a big house and this weird societal structure that Carla has built up. If you've never read Finder, read Finder. It's possibly my favorite comic of the last, I don't know how many years. When did it start coming out? Late 90s. But it's continuing in Dark Horse Presents. But there you go. Issue 18, DHP, Volume 3. And next we've got the Imperium #12 by Valiant. This one's feeling a little floppy too. Not quite as floppy as Swamp Thing, but a little floppy. What does this say? Comics Alliance, Best of 2015, Best Horror Comic. I don't know if I'd classify this as a horror comic, but maybe. But yeah, they're finally getting into this battle between Harada and the Vine. They're making their move in these... Well, I guess there are monsters in it, so it could be horror. But there's also lots of politics. Oh, there's the monster. Looks like he's got a bomb and a plane. But I very much enjoy the Imperium. To me, it's the best of the Valiant stuff. So check it out if you want something different. If you want the story of like a supervillain trying to take over the world, but you're kind of rooting for him because he does want to save everyone, and the people who are trying to stop him are not exactly nice. But anyway, the Imperium #12, good comic. Next we have Phonogram, The Immaterial Girl, issue 6 of 6. This one is ending just as I'm picking up Pencilhead, which I think is also a miniseries. So I'll have one miniseries replace another. Our story of music and magic by the people who bring us the wicked and the divine. It's like there's a lot of narration in this one, huh? Oh, that doesn't look good. But this has been a fun little story. I've enjoyed it. Like I said, I read the first volume of Phonogram. I never got to buy the second volume. This is the third Phonogram volume /story/mini. I've been enjoying it. Like I said, it's tough to describe. It takes place in a world where music is magic, and then there's just people who trade magic for power, but they don't seem to do anything but hang out at clubs. But I like it. It's an interesting comic. Check it out sometime. And next we have Rachel Rising #39. This one's a horror comic. You can tell by the skull in her hand. I'm glad this one has gotten popular in the last year on YouTube because it's a really good comic. I don't know how much it's selling in real life, but YouTube people have certainly taken to it. Good comic. It's at issue 39. Even though comics at issue 39 don't get as much hype as comics that are at issue 1 or 2 or 3, this one is very well worth checking into. It's worth the hype. It's it's worth hyping up, and it's worth giving a look. It's probably better than any #1 issue you'll buy this week. And next we have another long-running comic, Usagi Yojimbo 151, The Bride Part 1 of 1. He's been doing a lot of done-in-ones lately. Last, I think, 3 or 4 issues have all been nice done-in-one stories. Stan Sakai's a master storyteller, so he can tell a story in 1 issue or 6 issues. This one's a little thin, too, but that's because it's a 22-page package, I think they're going with, rather than a 24-page package rather than the 32. So I don't mind that. If you're going to be thin, at least, have fewer pages rather than have more pages and be thin. But Usagi is always that I've been buying this one since '86, so it's an old standby. Like all the issues, you can't pick up a bad issue of Usagi Yojimbo, so if you ever want to give it a try, just buy anything. You don't have to read it in order. You don't have to go to start with Volume 1. It's just a story of Usagi, who's a ronin, a masterless samurai, and he's going around feudal Japan having adventures. And speaking of Japan, we will end with Wayward, which takes place in modern Japan. That's an interesting... I like the colors on that cover. Lots of purples and pinks mostly, and a little blue on this. I wonder if this cover continues somewhere with that blue. Is it a wraparound? Nope. The back just gives us the magenta for the pink for the black line cover with black. Who knows why they would do that? But some nice art in this one. Good story of the new gods and the old gods feuding in Japan. Oh, there they all are. Look at a nice double-page spread. Looks like we have the new gods on the left and the old gods on the right, fighting for supremacy. Primacy? Is that a word? Supremacy in ancient Japan. Good book. Few Wayward fans I see out there, so pushing this one, and they should be because it's a good book. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention from last week. To Injection, issue number 6, was really good, and just like Warren Ellis promised us, he kind of made it a little easier to access, a little simpler than the first story arc. The issue 6 is pretty much like a Sherlock Holmes take, in that there's a character who, super smart detective type character in it. And it sets up a whole new mystery in the Injection world for the second arc. And so if you haven't checked out Injection, or if you checked it out and didn't like it because you didn't have any clue what it was about, check out issue 6, the beginning of the next story arc, because it's pretty easily accessible. You don't have to read the rest. And if you like Sherlock Holmes, check it out. I must say I really enjoyed the issue. It was well worth it, Injection number 6. Just like Wayward number 13 is well worth it. If you haven't checked this one out, give it a look. I think that's new eye makeup on that character. But anyway, Wayward number 13, a good comic. Finally, we'll give you a look at some of my background art. These are a couple of Enigma Prism covers I just did. Stories too bizarre to tell. This one's got lots of parallel lines. And a face staring at, one-eyed face staring at you with some sort of knife/arrowhead. These covers are supposed to sort of provoke intrigue and mystery. Make you wonder what's going on. What is the Enigma Prism? I like strange and mysterious stuff. Even if it's just for a cover. But anyway, there's a look at a couple issues. Couple of covers to comics that don't exist. The Enigma Prism, 8 and 9.